Caroline Munro is an English actress and model known for her many appearances in horror, science fiction and action films of the 1970s and 1980s. Biography. Early career. Munro's career commenced in 1966 when her mother and a photographer friend entered some headshots of her to the Evening News's Face of the Year contest. As she said, "I wanted to do art. Art was my love. I went to art school in Brighton, but I was not very good at it. I just did not know what to do. I had a friend at the college who was studying photography and he needed somebody to photograph and he asked me. Unbeknownst to me, he sent the photographs to a big newspaper in London. The fashion photographer, David Bailey, was conducting a photo contest and my picture won. This led to modeling work for Vogue magazine at the age of 17. She moved to London to pursue top modeling jobs and became a major cover girl for fashion and TV advertisements while there. Bit parts in movies came her way in such films as Casino Royale and Where's Jack. One of her photo ads got her a screen test and a one-year contract with Paramount where she won the role of Richard Widmark's daughter in the comedy western A Talent for Loving. In 1969 she began a lucrative 10-year relationship with Lamb's Navy Rum. Her image was seen throughout the country, and this would eventually lead to her next big break. In 1971 she appeared alongside Vincent Price in The Abominable Drive, Phibes, playing the deceased Mrs. Victoria Regina Phibes. She recalled, "The most challenging scenes involved lying in the coffin with Vincent," she reveals. "You see, I'm allergic to feathers and I was attired in this beautiful negligee, but it was covered with feathers. It took a great deal of willpower not to sneeze or sniffle. On occasion, I would simply have to sneeze and this would result in having to do another take." She reprised the role in the 1972 sequel, Dr. Phibes Rises Again. Also in 1972 she was mentioned in Colin Blunstone's song, Caroline Goodbye, a song about the breakup of their relationship. Hammer Horror Films. Hammer Films CEO, Sir James Carreras, spotted Munro on a Lamb's Navy Rum poster billboard. He asked his right-hand man, James Liggett, to find and screen test her. She was immediately signed to a one-year contract. Her first film for Hammer proved to be something of a turning point in her career. It was during the making of Dracula AD 1972 that she decided from this film onward she was a full-fledged actress. Munro acted in Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter in 1974. Directed by Brian Clemens, she plays the barefoot gypsy girl Carla. In Paramount Pictures DVD commentary, Clemens explains that he envisioned the role as a fiery, Raquel Welch-type redhead. Hammer pushed for Munro, and the script was adapted accordingly. Munro has the distinction of being the only actor ever signed to a long-term contract by Hammer Films. She would later turn down the lead female roles in Hammer's Drive, Jekyll and Sister Hyde, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, and The Unmade Vampirella because they required nudity. The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. Brian Clemens later helped her get the role of Marjana, the slave girl in The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. "I got the part. I had been signed by Hammer for 1 year for a contract, out of which I did 2 films, one being Dracula AD 1972, and the second one being Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter, which kind of would come full circle to Sinbad." It was written and directed by Brian Clemens, who wrote the screenplay for The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. "So, I was lucky enough to be chosen for Captain Kronos, and they were searching for somebody to do Sinbad, and they wanted a big name, somebody American, or well-known, but Brian said, no. He kept lobbying Charles Schneer, producer, and Ray Harryhausen, saying, I think you should come and look at the rushes, and see what you think, because I think she's right. So, they said no, but, eventually, Brian persuaded them to do that, and they saw the rushes, and that was how I got the part. So, it was lovely, like work out of work. I was very lucky to have done that. Today, Caroline is a trustee of the Ray and Diana Harryhausen Foundation. She appeared also as Tammy, a nursing employee of a sinister health farm, in The Angels of Death, an episode of the TV series The New Avengers that featured also rising stars Pamela Stephenson and Lindsay Duncan. This was notable, among other things, for a vicious fight between Munro and Joanna Lumley's Purdy. James Bond in 1977, Munro turned down the opportunity to play villainous Ursa in Superman in favor of Naomi in The Spy Who Loved Me. Cubby Broccoli urged Caroline to make her way to America in search of more lucrative offers. She declined, preferring to stay close to her family. Late 1970s and 1980s, Munro continued to work in numerous British and European horror and science fiction films through the 1970s and 1980s. Most notably Star Crash with David Hasselhoff, Christopher Plummer and Marjoe Gortner. Munro's dialogue was completely redubbed by other actresses, including Candy Clark for English-language prints of the film. Munro's career continued to thrive well in the 1980s, appearing in many slasher and Euro-trash productions. Her first film shot on American soil was the William Lustig production Maniac. This was soon followed by the multi-award-winning, shot during the Cannes Film Festival, Shocker, the Last Horror Film, in which she was reunited with her Maniac co-star Joe Spinell. She had a cameo role in the film Don't Open Till Christmas, Slaughter High, Paul Nashi's Howl of the Devil, and Jess Franco's Faceless, followed in rapid succession. She reteamed with Star Crash director Luigi Cozzi for Demons 6. De Profundis in 1989, though this would be her last major film appearance. Throughout the 1980s, Munro was often cited by the press as being a candidate for the co-starring role in a proposed feature film based upon Doctor Who. The feature was being co-produced by her second husband George Dugdale. At various times, press reports linked her with numerous actors touted to play the role of the Doctor. Music and television. In 1984, Munro signed a recording contract with Gary Newman's label Number Records, and released a dance single called Pump Me Up, written and produced by Newman. The single hardly sold, and Newman admitted later that his label was probably to blame. His original version of the song can be found on his 1984 album Berserker. Munro also provided vocals and lyrics for the song Warrior of Love, which she sang in the film Don't Open Till Christmas. The song was never officially released, although it can be found easily on the internet. Between 1984 and 1987, Munro was also a hostess on the Yorkshire television game show 3, 2, 1. Munro was also a popular pin-up girl during this time, though she refused to pose nude. In the early 1980s, she appeared in music videos for Adam Ant's Goody Two Shoes and Meat Loaf's If You Really Want To. Later years and fewer acting jobs. Her film roles were confined to performing cameos as herself in Night Owl, as Mrs. Pignon in To Die For, as the counselor in her friend Jeffrey Arsenault's film Domestic Strangers, and as Carla the Gypsy in Flesh for the Beast. Filmography: Smoke Over London, Casino Royale, Where's Jack, A Talent for Loving, The Abominable Drive, Phibes, Dr. Phibes Rises Again, Dracula AD, 1972, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter, I Don't Want to Be Born, At the Earth's Core, The Spy Who Loved Me, Star Crash, Maniac, The Last Horror Film, Don't Open Till Christmas, Slaughter High, Howl of the Devil, Faceless, Demons 6, De Profundis, Night Owl, To Die For, Domestic Strangers, Flesh for the Beast, The Absence of Light, Crying Wolf, Huge Little Buggers, Vampires, Girl Force.